And we're back here, ladies and gentlemen, with match number 2 this morning. Out of control, Matt Carlos versus the British Messiah, Timothy Thatcher.
This one is two conflicting styles. Like, I've seen Matt Carlos in person. He's a blur. And I've also seen Timothy Thatcher, and he's a technician. This ought to be really interesting to see which one of these guys whose style prevails.
Well, Timothy Thatcher being the last reigning worldwide internet champion before Dave Dutra was able to get that surprise victory over him. And Matt Carlos, no stranger to championship matches. He had a good run against Dave Dutra and Timothy Thatcher going after that belt after Thatcher had lost it.
Yeah, I did see the Matt Carlos-Dave Dutra match, side headlock here by out of control Matt Carlos. And these fans are definitely into the Matt Carlos movement as it is. And it's funny to see the guy who's the high flyer going for the technical move right off the bat.
Well, he knows the game that Timothy Thatcher wants to play. Can I question the wisdom of him going for technical moves with Thatcher knowing every way out of them?
Oh, that's foolish. That's foolish. That's youth and exuberance just showing there, trying to show that you can do what the other guy can do, but he obviously can do it better. He's been doing it longer.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. You know, I've never had a broadcast partner that I've agreed with more.
You know, Matthew Theo, when I got your call, like I said, I was coming back from Japan, and All Pro Wrestling, I love this place. It's got great talent, and you never know when CBX can be scouting. So I'm here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, anytime.
Yeah, I watched the show, and you know, they put you on there with some Joes, for lack of a better word. They put you on with some Joes.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, to check us on Twitter, All Pro Wrestling. It's twitter.com/All Pro Wrestling.
I follow All Pro Wrestling on Twitter.
So Matt Carlos surprisingly on top of Timothy Thatcher here, able to retain that headlock.
You know, he must be throwing Timothy Thatcher off. Thatcher thought he was coming in looking for a high flyer, finds himself on the mat. It'll take him a couple of minutes to adjust, but I think he will adjust.
You see here, Thatcher, no stranger.
And he controls the lock. Look at this.
And turns it into a pin. Very nice. Thatcher, though, he's creative. He's crafty. He's able to find ways out of moves that people don't really think about. So Matt Carlos really needs to stay on his game here, stay on his toes.
Well, watching the maturity level of Matt Carlos go up match to match, you know, he's not a big guy and he's not a small guy, you know, and he'll wrestle anybody. So he's seen it all so far, you know what I mean? And it obviously just he's very adaptive. So, and here he goes right here, taking a little bit too much time, I think.
Going for the Union landing early on.
Oh, vicious European uppercut, and I just love it. Timothy Thatcher just explodes on him. He starts kicking him in the back. And again, Timothy Thatcher is one of the most technically sound wrestlers in the North Coast. Anywhere in the world, he goes to England, he wrestles also. So you got guys who they'll take on any and all comers, and they are adaptive. So the one who wants the most here, it's evolve or die in this match right here. Who's gonna come up? Oh, a European uppercut to the back of the dome piece.
Man, Timothy Thatcher definitely taking advantage of the mistake that Matt Carlos made early on. And he's on top of this match. He's making Matt Carlos feel every move, every hit.
I think he took too much time going for the cover there to show his disapproval of the fans.
He's not getting Matt Carlos silly there.
You can see those hits coming, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's just a hard throw into the turnbuckles.
Now, those turnbuckles are steel surrounded by just thin padding. That does not feel good. It's not running into pillows.
It's not running into pillows at all. It's not running into stuffed animals. It's running into steel. I tell people all the time, man, when they talk about wrestling, I say, the ring is there to destroy you. The ring is like another opponent. And when somebody uses it like a tag team partner, the way Timothy Thatcher just did right there, you might as well be in a street fight, the gang.
Absolutely indeed. Matt Carlos fighting his way back into the ring, though.
This is where he's dangerous. He's going to turn up the tempo. Sunset flip. Quick cover. Thatcher kicks out.
Matt Carlos put his legs on top of Timothy Thatcher's arms. You don't really see that a whole lot in professional wrestling. That adds that extra weight onto the shoulders to try to get that win.
Now you've got Timothy Thatcher taking control, side headlock. Gonna go for a suplex.
And it connects.
Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back after the break with more Matt Carlos versus Timothy Thatcher.
And folks, just some brutal action. Right here you got Union landing attempt, turning into an uppercut, European uppercut right across the back. Now Timothy Thatcher's in full control. And that was just a great counter to a vicious move. The Union landing has put a lot of big players away, and Timothy Thatcher turned it to his advantage. And now look at the mug on this guy, just twisting the face of Matt Carlos.
Now, you need to remember that's the second time that Timothy Thatcher was able to avoid that Union landing. He has Matt Carlos scouted to a T.
Well, he's a student of the game, man. You know, he's got his game face on right now. Like you said, he's been a worldwide internet champion, and he's obviously got to be in the hunt for the Universal Heavyweight title eventually here, right?
Absolutely, absolutely indeed. Now, if you saw just a second ago, Timothy Thatcher turned this into a pin real quick. Matt Carlos able to get that shoulder up, but Timothy Thatcher didn't break. He didn't let Matt Carlos breathe. He grabbed him. He stitched that hold right back on as if he'd never even taken a break from it.
And he's putting pressure on the lower part of his neck right there. And every time you kick out with the lower pressure on the neck, it just causes more pain. You're using more energy. And the longer this match goes, that kind of style plays with Timothy Thatcher's hands. European uppercut. I mean, should we do a count? There should be a little clicker count for every time he jacks one of those off, boy. Every time Timothy Thatcher wrestles, he throws off at least a dozen of those. And it just hurts every single time.
Of course, Matt Carlos able to use the air to his advantage again, landing on the apron, going up top.
And that was a beautifully executed drop kick from the top rope.
Landed a little bit lower than I'm sure he was hoping for. Not quite able to get that 3 count.
And Tom Castor all over this one, calling it right down the middle.
Tom Castor is senior official here at APW for a reason, so they tell me. I don't really see it.
Yeah, it's not working to you guys' advantage at all. If I was you, I would get in there and try to figure out what's going on. It seems like it's a conspiracy going against the Theo company.
Oh, thank you very much. Caesar Black on my side. I like it.
I'm an APW TV fan, man, and there's nothing like to see when young men like yourself step into this game of the management game, and you bring your A game, and you get guys like Blackwell, who's just, he's an amazing athlete, and you're taking it to the top, And if you're out there listening to APW land, listen to this man's advice, all you youngsters and rookies.
Thank you, Caesar. Thank you. Thank you. And that's another European uppercut by
I think
Timothy
that's at
Thatcher.
least 7. That has to be at least 7. And again, when you have Timothy Thatcher matches, I want to see an uppercut counter. Oh, and a great counter. Speaking of counters,
went to the well one too many times, it seems. Matt Carlos almost able to get that backslide.
Oh, but then another counter to the counter. And this, again, 2 guys that will take on all comers, learning so many different styles. Using the ropes to his advantage. Matt Carlos with a beautiful cover. What a maneuver by the out of control one.
And we'd like to take this time again to remind you to come see Halloween Hell. Our next TV taping, Saturday, October 16th. Visit allprowrestling.com for all of the details, including match lineup.
Big things always happen at Halloween Hell. I've been to a couple of them myself, and it's just always a great event. So get out there live. A couple cans of food. Is that still the ticket here?
3 cans of food gets you in the door.
You got to love it. You're going to get some of the best wrestling in Northern California, and all you got to do is help out some charity. Come on, people.
Of course, back to the match at hand here. Matt Carlos versus the British Messiah, Timothy Thatcher in red.
What a beautiful moniker, the British Messiah.
Oh, out of control, able to get out of the way there. Thatcher catches the corner. Matt Carlos opening up.
It looked like he was going to go for another British uppercut, and European uppercut. Matt Carlos had it scouted. Wow, DDT spinning around his neck.
That there, Caesar, was the Matt Liner.
The Matt Liner?
The Matt Liner.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that name. I'm just going to call it spinning DDT. Sounds like the name of that guy who got cut from Arizona, Matt Liner.
Matt Carlos, though, trying to get the fans behind him. I don't know how wise this is. You should be on top of Timothy Thatcher.
He's taking too much
these
time.
Fans have to say.
Was he asking for a handout? Get on the moves.
Go, splash
Crossbody.
right in the corner.
Timothy Thatcher's reeling out. Got some uppercuts of his own.
Kind of a reversal of roles here.
Are those Filipino uppercuts?
Perhaps.
Ooh, springboard elbow.
Carlos going for the cover here. This could be it. But no.
Now, again, being a student, I love watching the APW TV show. I've seen some great Matt Carlos matches, including that 30-minute epic that he had with Dave Dutra. You would think that Matt Carlos, the one thing he needs to do is he needs to start stepping his game up a little bit more here. And wow, Timothy Thatcher with a clean pin. Clean pin. That was a beautiful pin. A win's a win. The bell rang. The match is over. It ain't a crime if you don't get caught, man. I grew up in the hood, And there you have it. Matt Carlos can't believe it, but believe it. I was just telling you, he took too much time, gave Timothy Thatcher too much space, and that cost him in the end.
Shocking, completely by surprise there. I thought Matt Carlos was going to hit that Union landing. Thatcher able to take advantage, though. Pull the tights. Hey. Illegal, but useful, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go back with Jason Anderson. He's interviewing Dave Dutra earlier this morning.
Hello APW fans, I am standing here with the worldwide internet champion Dave Dutra. Double D will take on Mr. Wrestling number 4 later on this morning, putting that APW title on the line. Dave, Mr. Wrestling number 4 put you in the figure 4 leg lock the last time you met up. What's going through your mind heading into this matchup?
Well, I can tell right now, all the fans out there, don't worry about Double D. My knee is 100%, and I've made sure that tonight I've trained hard, and I'm ready for Mr. Wrestling number 4. I'm not too worried much about the figure 4 leg lock, because that's one of the many things that I've been studying over the last couple weeks. The figure 4 leg lock, the $1 Million knee lift. I scouted Mr. Wrestling well, and I'm ready as ever for tonight's matchup.
What have you learned about Mr. Wrestling number 4 from watching those tapes and spending the time in the room with him during the Super Summer Series?
You know, I have learned a lot from Mr. Wrestling number 4. In and out of the ring, he's a great friend of mine. But all friendships aside, Mr. Wrestling is a hell of a competitor. And Mr. Wrestling has taught me that it doesn't matter how old you are. If you're a gamer, you're a gamer. And Mr. Wrestling is that because we did go the time limit draw at the Summer Series.
Dave, you were coming off a big victory over Rick Luxury, Wrestling Personified. How's that momentum going to carry you into this matchup tonight?
I'm going out there and doing what I do every single time. I got to make sure I walk out champion. I got to make sure that all the Double Dziaks are well and pleased. And I think I do a good job of that. And it's not going to be any different here fighting Mr. Wrestling number 4. Double D's going to go out there. He's going to retain the Internet Championship. He's going to please everyone at home watching on KFTY, everyone live in the building. And Double D is going to do what he does best, get the 1, 2, 3.
There you have it, fans, from the champion himself. He will take on Mr. Wrestling number 4 at the world-famous APW Garage here in Hayward, California on Gym Wars.